Hi guys, Ramsey here. Welcome to another video. Today we have a This Is Not a Top 10 on the note of Tonka. And this video all ties together because I have some amazing news, some almost unbelievable news. But if you've been following my channel, you know that Russian Adam very kindly sent me, first of all, he sent me a bunch of samples of his brand, which I've never smelled. And then he went a step further and sent me a bunch of ingredients, the actual ingredients themselves. So Chinese CO2, sweet Indian oud, you know, stuff like that. Burma Sauvage, which is a type of oud. There's all kinds of stuff in here that he sent me. Vanilla. He sent me patchoulis, different distilled types of patchoulis, all kind of stuff. If you haven't watched my video where I open each one and smell it on camera, he even sent me some vintage Russian perfumes. This is Red Moscow, for example. Stuff like that. Unbelievable kindness, you know. And I only tried one so far. And the reason I only tried one is because it's been over a week, and this has been sitting on my bureau over there. And I've been able to smell Tonka. Okay, he sent me these beautiful little Arige Ladore blotters as well. So this is Tonka, and you can see I dipped it about, oh, I don't know, maybe something like a week ago, maybe even over a week ago. And it's just starting to die down. But it was so strong for an entire week, unbelievably strong. And it smells different from the Tonka that you smell in perfumes. So the news is that Russian Adam and I have been talking back and forth, and he agreed to actually join me one day in the next week, week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, something like that, where we will discuss some of these materials on camera together. I mean, what a blessing that is. If it happens, it'll be probably the greatest video I've ever done. And so to honor that, and to honor the fact that I just happened to pick Tonka and begin with it, we're going to do it. This is not a top 10 Tonka, where I show you fragrances in my collection that have the note of Tonka. Now, as I normally do, as we get to the end of the video, they're going to be the real Tonka heavy last 5, 6, 7 fragrances. The rest of them have the note of Tonka. Some of them are heavier use, some of them are lighter use, but I'll tell you what, smelling the actual ingredient is completely different than the way you think about Tonka in perfume. The ingredient itself is almost like tobacco-like, almost like hay-like, if you will. It has this very dry aspect to it, which normally I used to think about Tonka being as like this gloopy, syrupy. That's just the way the industry does it, that sweetness, because that's what people like nowadays. They like sweet perfumes. I don't. And I do have some sweet perfumes I'll show you, but they're not my favorite kind of thing. But this regular Tonka, if they could just create a fragrance that smelled like the actual ingredient, that would be perfect for me. And I have a few at the end that I think at least get somewhat close. But before we do all that, we're going to do the traditional scent of the day, and I'm discovering a new house. The new house is a house that's been recommended to me over and over and over, and I finally caved and bought 4 of their fragrances. I'm wearing one today as my scent of the day for the first time, and I'm absolutely loving it. The value for money, which, again, value is something that is in the eye of the beholder, right? Because these are not cheap, but they're not expensive like some of the other fragrances we'll talk about later on. They're not Roja Dove pricing or anything like that. They're very reasonable. In fact, I got 3 of these from one seller, from Parfum d'Empire. 3 bottles for $350 shipped, something like that. So, you know, it is a lot of money when you look at it in dollars, but the value, 350 ml bottles, new in package, you know, for me, for a niche brand with the quality that I'm smelling here, this is unbelievable. And I love the idea. So the founder, Marc-Antoine Cortiaccio, I think is how you pronounce his name. Cortiaccio, if I butchered that, I'm sorry. But he uses history as a guide for his creation. So, for example, Amber Rousse is the one I'm wearing today. And I'm wearing it because it's a little cooler in Texas, especially for May. We had some rain come through, a cold front come through, that kind of thing. So I'm getting a chance to wear some of these heavier fragrances. This is perfect for winter. It opens up a little bit feeling like a boozy Ombre Sultan because it opens with champagne and vodka combined in the top. And it reminds me, if you've heard me talk about Chanel's Cuir de Russie in the past, how I said it reminds me of like old Russia, ballrooms and chandeliers and glitzy glamour. That's the champagne. But then there's also the vodka note. There's the Daca out in the middle of the, woods from 150 years ago. They were cut off from civilization. It was freezing in Russia. There wasn't a lot of food. That kind of feel. It gives you both sides of Russia. There's some dirtiness. The ambergris smells real. It smells natural. Maybe it's not, but it smells natural. And there's a coriander, cumin, and tea note, and that cumin tea combo is genius. It's absolutely genius. One of my favorite ambers off of One Wear. I don't know if it can compete with Serge's Ombre Sultan because that is my favorite spicy amber, but boy, this shot to the top of the list. And the reason it shot to the top of the list is it does something else that I love. It adds leather. And it's like an ambery, leathery with frankincense, okay? And a little bit of vanilla, but not sweet. All right, it stays a little bit dirty. It stays a little bit animalic from the ambergris and the cumin. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Shocked I haven't discovered this sooner. Like, I've waited so long to discover this brand. Now I can't wait to discover the other four. I might just wear them as my scent of the day. Boom, 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 back to back to back. Because this brand completely just knocked me for a 6. Okay, next we're going to get into the Tonka fragrances. There is a lot of them, so I apologize. But I wanted to be comprehensive with the list. So this is going to be a long video. So, as is normal, par for the course at Channel Ram. So the first one we're going to talk about is an Aramis Havana fragrance. And I did a first impression on this fragrance on my channel. Check it out. It's called Manly. Now, Manly is a fragrance that wasn't as well received as some of his other perfumes, let's say. And I didn't bash it, but I said, for the price, it was so-so. Now, I have been able to wear it to bed, one more time since then. And I enjoyed it even more. And the reason that I enjoyed it more is the heart has this tobacco Tonka thing going on. And once I got to smell the real thing, the real Tonka bean, I really appreciate Manly just a little bit more. I still think the value for money is not as good as some of the other Aramis Havana perfumes, which I wore and absolutely loved, like Oud Zen, War and Peace, Antiquity, that kind of stuff. Ottoman Empire, those are the ones that just blow it out of the water. But I'm coming around to Manly. If I had a bottle, I would totally wear it. Let's put it that way. And it has a beautiful Tonka in the heart with leather, sandalwood, Indian oud, and vanilla in the base. Beautiful fragrance. Okay, next, we're going to go to a decant, which I will make my scent of the day one day soon. And it's called Fumerie Turk. This is sent to me by my brother across the pond, Rich Mitch. And Fumerie Turk is this sweet tobacco fragrance from Serge Lutens. It has resins, it has beeswax, it has this like candied rose and honey-like feel. So it's white honey and beeswax, which is right up my alley. The only thing is the sweetness. Again, the sweetness seems like if it could be toned down a little bit, it would be the perfect tobacco fragrance. I need to give it a full wear. I have had a chance to wear it to bed. but I have not given it a full wear, so that will happen very soon. But Fumerie Turk has Tonka and tobacco combo, just like Manly. They're completely different fragrances, but that Tonka tobacco, because I just said when I smelled the real ingredient, that Tonka bean, if it's not sweetened and it's done using high quality ingredients, does give off a bit of that hay-like tobacco vibe. So they really complement each other nicely. Okay, next we're going to do another sample, which I plan on doing a first impression very soon. This is Spirit of Dubai's Meydan. M-E-Y-D-A-N. I believe it's pronounced Meydan. I'm not 100% sure. This actually opens up like a scroll. I didn't know that when I did the Oud first impression. Because I did a first impression of Spirit of Dubai's Oud on my channel. Go check that out if you haven't watched it. But Meydan is the one I'm really excited about because it's a leather scent. And I love leather. And just from the cap, it's gorgeous. It has this apple saffron thing going on in the top that maybe will just slightly remind you a little bit of the apple in Promise, but then it seems like it goes its own way. Tons of notes: tobacco, hedione, cashmeran, cypress, jasmine, cedarwood, lily of the valley, geranium, gaiac, frankincense, myrrh, ambergris, musk, patchouli, labdanum, vanilla, tonka, vetiver, oud, benzoin, tolu balsam, leather, amber, sandalwood, tobacco, tons of notes, like I said, cardamom, but there is a tonka bean note in the base, which is expected. And so I will give this a entire wear, make it my scent of the day, and do an early impression video. Thank you to my perfume fairy godmother or father. You know who you are. Thank you for sending me these. Very kind of you. Next, we're going to do another decant, which is, actually, we've got the baskets going again because, excuse me while I bend over and grab these here, because we've got a lot of fragrances to discuss. So, we're going to do an Amouage decant. And by the way, I just showed you the Spirit of Dubai decant with the cap. Look at the Amouage decant, not from the high-end line. I've shown you their high-end Opus line decant that has like a gold cap. This is just their regular decant. This is Honor Man. Honor with an O-U-R, proper honor. And look at this. It's a cap. It has a proper sprayer. It's not one of the shite samples that I complain about that, high-end brands will use from time to time. This is a proper sample. This is what a niche brand that charges $300, $400, $500 a bottle should look like. It's solid. It's sturdy. It looks like it's probably 3 ml instead of just 2. That kind of stuff. Put some pride into your samples. People are sampling your brand, and you show them the same shite sample set that, Versace or just basic designer, Dior or stuff like that uses. You're trying to separate yourself if you're a niche brand. Honor Man is a peppery LME perfume with a base of frankincense, musk, patchouli, tonka, vetiver, and cedar. Beautiful fragrance, but I bought probably enough of these samples and I got them for a steal. I got like 50 of these 2 or 3 ml samples. I think they're 3 mls. But I got 50 of them. And so I never bought a bottle because I have so many samples. And I guess somebody that, worked at a place just had a bunch of them, and so I bought them. It's a Nathalie Feisthauer creation. And this is like the underappreciated Amouage. No one talks about Honor Man. It came out 11 years ago. I actually enjoy wearing Honor in the spring and summer. So it's one of the few Amouages, along with, a couple fragrances like CL. I mentioned CL Man in the past in my videos. That's discontinued. I love wearing CL in the summer. I'll even wear Reflection in the summer sometimes. That kind of thing. Honor's up there with it, but it's very peppery. This is like, if you're a pepper lover, black pepper and red pepper specifically, not Sichuan pepper, If you're a black pepper lover, I would highly encourage you to check out Honor Man. Or if you're a fan of LME and frankincense, it does, if you can put up with the pepperiness in the opening, it dries down to a beautiful LME frankincense combo, which play off of each other gorgeously. And then we're going to talk about a sample that is going to have me do a comparison video soon, because I have a full bottle of Lyric. Lyric is somewhere. Where's Lyric Man? I don't know. Somewhere here. Somewhere over here. And this is Lyric Woman. So I'm going to compare Lyric Man and Lyric Woman one day on my channel and do a side-by-side comparison. But I'll tell you what, Lyric Woman is a bit of an anomaly because Amouage kind of did like the okey doke on everybody. They made the masculine version of Lyric Man more feminine, and they made the woman version, Lyric Woman, more masculine. And they're playing with Rose. So part of me wonders if Christopher Chong and Danielle Muriel did this on purpose. Because I've found just testing, I have a couple of these as well. This is not the only one that I have of Lyric Woman. I don't have a full bottle, but I found Lyric Woman to be more traditionally masculine with the ginger and cardamom and frankincense, patchouli. There's an angelica note. It's beautiful here. Then even Lyric Man. There's oak moss. So it'll be an interesting comparison video. I've been planning to do that for a while. I will make that happen very soon. I have a ton of content I want to put out for you guys. It's just a matter of doing it. And then, next up on the list, we've got a few more decants down here, which the first one is going to be Nishane's Sultan Vetiver. Now, I have a full bottle of this coming from my brother, Rich Mitch, across the pond. He has a haul coming my way at the end of this year, in fall. We've got it kind of set aside for that. If you know the story behind that haul, it's crazy. We thought we lost it. It came back to him. You know, that kind of thing. It's hard to get perfume out of the UK, apparently. And so in that haul is a full bottle, unopened, of Nishane Sultan Vetiver. Now, this is one of my favorite vetiver perfumes. I know people say that it has a amber woods dry down, but I absolutely love it. I also wore Encre Noire yesterday, which is, you know, considered one of the budget vetivers. And that has Nathalie Lorsen's synthetic musks and vetiveryl acetate and stuff like that in there. But it's absolutely beautiful. I love Encre Noire, and I love Nishane's Sultan Vetiver. This has this Javanese vetiver with bourbon and Haitian vetiver and Tonka in the heart. And then there is this amber wood in the base. It is amber woods. It's amber woods with leather and Brazilian vetiver. So there's 4 types of vetiver in this perfume. So if you can stand a synthetic perfume, if you can stand some of the stuff like, I don't know, Promise, or, you know, something that is clearly synthetic but well done, Nishane Sultan Vetiver should be at the top of your list. Or if you're just a vetiver lover. If you're just a vetiver lover, Sultan Vetiver is like king vetiver. There's so much vetiver in here, and it's beautiful. It is. It does use synthetics. You know, if your nose will only pick up that amber wood and that'll bother you, it's not for you. But the Tonka notes in the heart, it's beautiful. And then the next one is one that I kind of struggle with a little bit. I don't care for this fragrance, to be honest with you. I mean, a lot of people around me like it. I've only given it one wear, and I said, not sure about this. And this is why I'm glad I do sample from time to time. I'll talk about it one day. I'll wear it one day and talk about it. It's this fresh, sweet scent from Chanel called Allure Homme Sport Eau Extrême. Long name, but it came out a decade ago. It was a Jacques Polge. And it's this minty, musky, Tonka sandalwood thing. I don't know. It's peppery. It's it's just, I don't like the sweetness, and I don't like how designer boring it smells to me. It smells great. You know, people enjoy this fragrance. If you're a compliment, if you're someone that lives off of compliments, if your life isn't complete unless someone taps you on the shoulder and says, "Excuse me, sir, you smell absolutely amazing," this might be the fragrance for you. For me, it's too boring. I need a little intrigue in my life, you know, that kind of thing. Okay, next we're going to do a Tom Ford decant. And the Tom Ford decant is of Tobacco Vanille. And I'm glad I have a decant of Tobacco Vanille because I really love this perfume. And when it's gone, would I buy a full bottle? I don't know. We'll talk about that in just a second. But this is a great use of tobacco and Tonka. Again, winning combination. I talked about it in Manly. I talked about it in Fumerie Turk. Here's tobacco and Tonka again with vanilla, resins. There's a cacao note. And there's this dried fruits note, which is executed absolutely perfectly. And while it is sweet, and you know I say I don't like sweet fragrances, this is done so well that I just can't help but enjoy myself wearing it. Sebastian from the Perfume Guy channel said he wears this on Thanksgiving Day, and I took his advice, and I wore this on Thanksgiving this year. To go to my parents' house and eat turkey and stuff like that. And it did work absolutely beautifully. Great scent memory. Beautiful in the cold. I love it. I wish I would have bought a full bottle of Tobacco Vanille. Instead, I bought this. I tried to go cheap. This is one of the times that going cheap kind of bit me. And I still like this fragrance. I think it's a good fragrance, but I wish I had a full bottle of Tobacco Vanille instead of this. This is Frank Bachlet's Tobacco. So Moudessir found me a good deal on this. They're hard to find in the US for whatever reason. But he said overseas they're easier to find. So if you like fragrances like, let's see, Phaidon's Tabac Rouge. If you like Tobacco Vanille. If you like Herod, that kind of thing. This is in that ballpark. It's ginger, tobacco, and plum. So it adds the plum instead of that dried fruit accord, and it just changes the profile a little bit. Everything else is executed beautifully. The benzoin and vanilla and vetiver in the base mixed with the clove, tonka, and cedar in the heart, and it does create a beautifully familiar profile. It'll remind you of Tobacco Vanille, let's say, but for some reason, I still enjoy Tobacco Vanille more. Okay, next on the list, we've got a few more samples, and then we'll get into some full bottles I'll show you guys. So next on the list is going to be a Dolce & Gabbana that I talked about in the past. It's called Dolce & Gabbana The One Mysterious Night. So it's in the red bottle, and the perfumer is Jean-Christophe Herault. It's the same perfumer that did Aventus, okay? And this is a saffron, rose absolute, oud, and tonka, labdanum, amber. There's a syntheticness in the base that if you're used to only sniffing, you know, Roja Dove fragrances or high-end fragrances, your nose will pick up on that syntheticness. But I love this perfume. I think it's probably the best modern Dolce & Gabbana perfume they've ever put out, and they marketed it towards the Middle East, so it's also a little hard to come by, but I have seen it on discounters from time to time. You can get it for 60, 70, 80 bucks for 125 ml or whatever it is. Steal. The rose in this, if you're somebody that doesn't like rose, try this fragrance. It might convert you because it has more going on. It has that Middle Eastern saffron, that oud. This is Jean-Christophe Herault's best fragrance outside of Aventus, in my opinion. Okay, next we're going to go to a decant that I will be talking about more very soon. I'm going to talk about fougères, and this fragrance is going to be important. I'm going to make it my scent of the day. This is the Extrait de Parfum of Fougère Royale. So in 2010, Rodrigo Flores Roux teamed up with Roja Dove to create Fougère Royale based on the original Fougère version that Houbigant made back in the late 1800s or whatever it was. The whole point of a fougère is that it really means fern-like. Okay, so it's like a fern, which is interesting because ferns have no notable smell, right? But I love the concept from like an artistic standpoint, right? And so this is bergamot, chamomile, lavender, herbs with carnation, May Rose Absolute, geranium, cinnamon, amber, oak moss, coumarin. The coumarin is big in the base. So there's coumarin and there's tonka bean absolute. There's both in the base of the extrait. Mastic absolute, patchouli, rondelitia. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Rondelitia, maybe that's a flower or something. And then clary sage absolute. As far as fougères go, I mean, going back to the very beginning is, it's definitely something to be discussed and talked about. And then there's this beauty. I love this fragrance. This is one of my favorite Cécile Zarokian creations of all time. This is Masque Milano's Tango. And Tango and Epic Woman and Private Label are Cécile Zarokian's holy trinity for me. Everything else she did, like Ani, even though I have a bottle of Ani, it didn't really do it for me. There's cardamom, there's jasmine sambac absolute, there's cumin in here. Remember I was saying there's cumin and amber roots that I love. I love that challenging spice profile with vanilla, tonka, sweet clover absolute, which is a very unique note. Leather, benzoin, and musk. It really feels like you're doing the tango with someone and your body's heating up and you're sweating and you get that, a little bit of that animalic sweat going mixed with that, sex appeal, that attraction. You're tangoing with somebody on the dance floor. It does have that vibe. It's a beautiful perfume. Fantastic for winter. Absolutely. Well, I wouldn't wear this in summer, but fantastic for winter. And then finally, we've got Sartorial. Sartorial is a Bertrand Duchaufour creation. It's this almost like you go to the dry cleaner and they press your jeans in the opening. It does have a bit of this aldehydic metallic ozonic feel in the opening, but it mixes with traditional fougère notes like lavender, tonka bean, cedar wood. He added, of course, Bertrand Duchaufour's twist like he always does. There's a little bit of beeswax, a little bit of linden blossom, a little bit of oak moss, vanilla, amber, patchouli, honey. It's gorgeous. It's the only Penhaligon's I've ever tried that I would even consider buying a bottle. I don't think I need a bottle, but it's the only one I've tried that's full bottle worthy. Okay, next, we're going to start knocking out some of these bottles. So, the first one we're going to do is this little bad boy. I'm not going to take the bottle out because I had to decant it because the bottle started to crack. I must have dropped the box or something, and the bottle, even though it didn't fall, it might have just started to crack a little bit. I didn't want to lose the precious juice, so I decanted it. But this is Eau de Hermès. And this is in one of the old flacons with the 3 ingredients listed. You buy any version of Eau de Hermès that you want to buy. I'm sure the modern stuff is great as well. I prefer the older ones that are either the copper top, or they also had this gray gunmetal looking top, and then these flacons they used to sell in the flacons, and it's my favorite Edmund Rudnitska perfume. I've said that before. I think it's his masterpiece. I think it's better than Eau Sauvage. I think it's better than Rocha's Femme, for me personally. Now, Rocha's Femme is very influential, but this has this spicy cardamom, clover, cumin thing going on in the opening. It's supposed to smell like the inside of an Hermes bag, a specific type of bag. And it is geranium, jasmine, tonka bean in the heart, vanilla, birch, leather, sandalwood, tonka bean in the base. So this has tonka in the heart and in the base, but it's that birch and leather that just get me. It just drags me in. You know, the leather in this is so intoxicating. It's, you know, it's absolutely beautiful. Okay, next we're going to do a perfume that you're going to hear about again when we do the video for Lily of the Valley. It is Mugler month, so we will do another This Is Not a Top 10 in the next week before the month of May is over to celebrate Mugler month. This will be on the list as well. This is Leonard Tamango. Tamango is marketed for women, and it is a very traditional women's perfume. But I got a great deal, so I bought 3 bottles of these. And I got a fantastic deal on all. I got them all for like 90 bucks, 3 of them. And it has a beautiful floral green, maybe a little bit of spice mixed in. There's supposedly a carrot note, if I'm not mistaken, but it's really all about the iris, jasmine, lily of the valley, carnation, rose, and then the base is oak moss, sandalwood, tonka, and amber. It's a beautiful fragrance. This would smell amazing on a modern woman who wants to wear something different than whatever all the other women are wearing. You throw on Tamango, I mean, you're gonna shine. It's beautiful. I would wear it as well. I haven't worn it as my scent of the day yet, but I've worn it to bed a couple times and really loved it. Speaking of fragrances that are marketed towards women that I love, this is more up my alley. I prefer this style more than Tamango for me to wear personally. This is a vintage bottle of Chanel's Coco Eau de Toilette. Now you can tell it's a vintage bottle because of the shortened ingredient list on the back. Look at the sticker from Macy's. Love it. Moudessir found me this. So again, if I was a gatekeeper, I wouldn't tell you guys about Moudessir. I would keep them all to myself because I'm trying to limit who gets in this hobby, right? But no, instead, I do the exact opposite. The whole point of me is sharing this information with you guys. If you want to, I will help you hunt down bottles, vintage bottles. I will help you make connections. That's the whole reason I'm doing this. Not to hide it and hoard it for myself, but to share it with you guys. And this is, I mentioned that I discovered a perfume called Teatro alla Scala by the house of Krizia. Go watch my initial impression on that fragrance. I was blown away. Like literally, didn't just knock me for a 6, it knocked me out of my chair and onto the floor. This did the same thing. This is in that ballpark. If you like fragrances like, you know, if you like fragrances with serious amounts of personality, if you like fragrances like Teatro alla Scala, or if you like Satis de Givenchy, if you like Shalimar, check out Coco. Coco is one of the best finds of the year for me. I did buy this year. I did an unboxing. Go check that out. My God. It's just that scent. It's just the that beautiful honeyed floral cinnamony, you know, blend. Then they add the dollop of civet, tonka bean, benzoin, amber, musk, patchouli. It's just perfect Oriental spicy, perfection. By the way, speaking of Oriental, if you watched my video yesterday on Jean-Paul Guerlain, I said that Jacques Guerlain Shalimar was the first Oriental. That's incorrect. It was Emeraude by Coty. But Shalimar, Jacques Guerlain Shalimar is the most famous of the older Orientals. So just a quick correction, since I know some of you guys are taking notes. Okay, next is going to be this bad boy. This is Lagerfeld Cologne. Now, I would again urge you, if you can, I have both versions, okay? Hang on, I'm going to stand up for a second. So I have this version, which is Lagerfeld Classic. This is how they come now. This is distributed by Interparfums. And I have one of the older bottles, maybe not the original, but older enough that it is a small ingredient list. And you can see it's distributed by Bethco. Okay? So I prefer the Cologne version by far, hands down. Not even a comparison. Look at the difference in the color of the juice. And the reason I prefer this is they're both good fragrances. Actually, this is a good perfume. I haven't smelled the new one that's being marketed by Coty, or if it's discontinued. I have no clue. I don't know what's going on with this perfume. All I know is that if you can find the one that says Lagerfeld Cologne instead of Classic, get that, because it has all of the beautiful orange. It has that orange openiness, like there's a line of orange running through the perfume with tobacco, sandalwood, orris, is beautiful orris in this. But the base has this oak moss, this additional masculinity, almost like they took the new one and the old version like implants an 80s masculine version on top. It's stunning. It's one of my favorite fragrances to wear in the cold. It just envelops you with this beautiful tobacco, patchouli, rose, tonka. It's gorgeous. And you know, the good thing about this fragrance is these old bottles, I have two backups of the Cologne version, and I back them up when I find them for cheap. Like, I think I got this for $38 on Mercari. Whenever I find something like that, I pounce. I just grab it. I'm just ready, you know, that kind of thing. That's why I say this hobby is about time and patience, but also it's about knowledge. It's about knowing, you know, people take for granted that people know the differences. A lot of people don't know. You know, that's why I'm doing these videos, to share the information with you guys, that's what you want to look for. This version is what you want if you're going for the fragrance and if you have similar tastes like I do. So that is Lagerfeld Cologne. Beautiful Tonka in the base there as well. And next we're going to go to some Bortnikovs. There's 4 of them here. And they all use Tonka bean in one way or another. The first is going to be Oud Maximus. Now, this is my favorite oud fragrance that I've smelled. The only one that I would say would compete with this is Oud Zen by Arise Ladore. That's the only oud fragrance that I think can compete with Oud Maximus on just a pure out-and-out oud. This beats Estee Lauder's or Frederic Mall's The Night by far. It beats it down with an ugly stick. Oud Maximus is has multiple types of rose, Himalayan, rose attar, jasmine sambac, cardamom, Indian rose, frangipani, clove, and then there's tonka in the heart. In the base is Indian oud, Vietnamese oud, Borneo oud, Sri Lankan oud, birch tar, tolu balsam, vanilla, real deer musk, and civet. Stunning perfume. And I have the 2020 version. I have the newer version. So I would tell you, get your hands on any version of that if you're interested in a real oud fragrance. If you want a real oud, you want to take the next step from what, you know, Oud Wood or Versace Oud Noir. And I like those perfumes. I own them. But this is, you know, the Arise Ladores and the Bortnikovs are on another level. You know, they're like the next level up. Like you've graduated, you know. So after Oud Maximus, we have Lao Oud. This is the new one. I just did an unboxing of this within the last week. And Lao Oud is almost like you took Oud Monarch and Oud Maximus and blended them and added coffee. So you have pink pepper, magnolia, peach, frangipani, beeswax, absolute, cinnamon, chamomile, Peru balsam, cacao absolute, oud from Laos, tonka beans, crocodile wood, I don't know what that is, coffee, and a beautiful coffee note. Absolutely stunning. Oud from India, vanilla absolute, birch tar, and gaiac wood. So there you have it. That is Lao Oud. And then we've got Musk Habib. Whoops. Wait a minute. Do we have Musk Habib? Yes, we do have Musk Habib. So this is the older style Bortnikov bottles. They used to come with this wood cap that looked like that. I think I like the older ones, actually. The new ones look too Roja Dove with that cap on top. The old ones look more indie, you know? As far as a musk fragrance goes, again, I'll go back to what I said. The only comparison I've ever smelled that could compete with this and actually is probably even better than Musk Habib is Aries Ladore's Siberian Musk. I love Siberian Musk. And I've got Siberian Musk 1 and 2 decants. I'll do a comparison video for you guys one day. But those are very hard to find. So for availability, the Bortnikovs don't just sell out like the Aries Ladores do. So it's easier to just go on there and grab a bottle whenever you get paid or have the money or whatever it is. Tonka bean with musk and vanilla and real deer musk in the base is stunning. I mean, it sets you, again, another level of perfume. And then finally, we've got Mysterious Oud, which is like a animalic oriental oud vibe. That's kind of what you get, like an animalic oriental oud with myrrh, castoreum, tolu balsam, labdanum, vanilla. Tonka bean is in the heart here. So again, this is the new style cap you can see. There is an old bottle of this that sometimes you'll find that has like a sticker looking thing on the front instead of the Roja Dove looking plate that that Bortnikov went with. I do like the presentation. You know, it's nice, but I prefer the older cap. But this cap is heavy. I mean, this is a heavy cap. They've obviously spent some money on this. And, you know, there's detail on the sprayer. Love the house. Love the house of Bortnikov. And now I've got 6 of their perfumes. So, you know, I've obviously been collecting them and continue to collect them. Okay, next, we're going to do a couple of the Roja Doves, I think. Yes, we're going to do a couple of the Roja Doves. And the first one we're going to do is Parfum de la Nuit number 1. So Parfum de la Nuit number 1 is it's almost like Roja had an idea that he would create 3 perfumes of people that you meet, right? 3 people that you would meet. And this is like a resinous, spicy fragrance with bergamot in the top, cistus in the heart, labdanum in the base with civet, tonka, vanilla, cypriol, saffron, clove, tolu balsam, styrax, tonka bean in the base, vetiver, cedarwood, patchouli, saffron. It's okay. It's just, it didn't blow me away. The labdanum in here is beautiful. For what this is, you know, this is a $1,400 perfume. And for $1,400, I want my shoulders to be massaged by this perfume. And it doesn't do that for me. You know, if I'm going to wear like an animalic labdanum or something, or I'd rather just wear Furio, That's 20 bucks, 26 bucks. I got it on fragrancebuy.ca. Furio does it for me. $1,400 PDLN number 1 does not. I know they're different fragrances, I'm just saying. The second one is Parfum de la Nuit number 2. And Parfum de la Nuit number 2 takes that same bergamot cistus combo top heart. They add lemon and orange. They keep the cypriol, patchouli, vetiver, vanilla, tonka, labdanum. They keep a lot of the same structure, but they add cacao. And they add rum. So rum is the claim to fame here. They draw down some of the animalics. I don't think there's castoreum or civet here, sorry. I don't think there's civet. It's a little resinous, warm. It's easier to wear. It's, again, we're talking a $1,400 bottle of perfume. So this sample is as far as I will be. Unless I go to the mailbox one day and Roja decides to send me a free bottle because my channel has now grown, I will never own a bottle of PDLN number 1 or number 2. Okay, and then the last one here is Musk Oud. And Musk Oud is another one that I am maybe even not so much in love with. It is nice, okay? It's nice. The floral aspect is beautiful. There's bergamot, lemon, may rose, jasmine from grass, and ylang ylang with ambrette, birch, oud, labdanum, leather, musk, nutmeg, oak moss, sandalwood, tonka bean, vanilla, and patchouli. There is this common synthetic vibe that you get through Roja's oud perfumes. And whether there is real oud here or not, I don't know. If he says there is, okay? He did some sort of crystal parfum, which used a special distillation technique, which removes the odor, colorless oils and makes it, you know, clear so it doesn't stain your clothes, because this will stain your clothes. I spray on skin, so it doesn't matter. Again, pleasant. Wouldn't buy a bottle of Musk Oud, personally. And then there was another Roja that I wanted to just talk about real quick. I didn't bring it up on the list. I completely forgot. But it is a discontinued eau de parfum version of Roja. That's called Scandal. And Scandal has that fougere, that spicy fougere DNA. It will remind you of some of the fougères of the past, but modernized, Roja'd up, right? He Roja'd it up. He added the expensive jasmine, may rose, violet. There is this spearmint, basil, bergamot, lavender opening that's very pleasant. The dry down does get a little bit animalic. There is supposedly ambergris. This is the old paper label Rojas. There's labdanum, nutmeg, patchouli, tonka, sandalwood, rhubarb, vetiver, clove, mossy notes, cedarwood, cashmeran, cardamom. So if you said, Ramsey, you can wear something like, I don't know, Pour Monsieur by Chanel or Scandal, I would pick Scandal. It's good for its genre, but it's not my favorite. How about that? This genre of perfumes is just not my favorite, but it is done very, very well. Now, this is the discontinued eau de parfum. I will warn you, I have smelled the Parfum Cologne version. I got a decant from Lucky Scent, and I think it's shite. So, take that as you will. The Roja fanboys are going to be like, how dare you attack Roja? But, you know, I love Roja. Look at my Roja collection. I love some of his perfumes, but some of them, you got to call shite. I'm sorry. Next, we're going to do a Nishane. And this is, oh no, I grabbed the wrong one. Sorry, guys. I grabbed Ani. I wanted to show you Fan Your Flames. That's my fault. I won't even show it to you. But Fan Your Flames is the one that has coconut rum, tobacco, tonka, oak moss, and Chinese cedar. So again, tonka, tobacco combo, winning combo for tobacco. Okay, next we're going to go to some full bottles. And actually, I'm going to have to move these around, so bear with me 1 second. I'm going to grab the other basket. Don't go anywhere. You stay right there. Okay, here we go. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. Okay, so basket number 2, Creed's Himalaya. Now, Creed's Himalaya is very close to Paco Rabanne XS. It has this bergamot, this citrusy Creed thing with the sandalwood, smooth Creed sandalwood. They do so well with vetiver, nutmeg, cedarwood. They do this sandalwood, cedarwood combo to perfection. Ambergris, musk, and tonka in the base. So it's this fresh, citrusy, fougere Creed thing. I think this bottle, which is a 2017 batch, is much inferior to the previous bottle of Himalaya I had, which was like 2013. I had a 4-ounce 2013 bottle, and even though this is pleasant and nice, I feel like it's lost whatever was in that old 2013 bottle, whatever that sparkle was, the higher quality ingredients. I don't know, but I just feel like Creed is on a plane that the engines are on fire and they're just going down, baby. But that's just me. Now, there's also this one, which Parfumo does not show a tonka bean note, which is surprising, but Base Notes does. So I'm going to show it to you guys because I think there's tonka in here. And this is Creed's Original Santal. I usually don't have the box, but I have the box today. So Creed's Original Santal. I like the old Creed boxes, by the way, with the Creed logo all over them. I don't like the new ones. They've just got so cheap on everything. How are you going to get cheap and charge people $500 a bottle? It's insane. So you can see, look at the dent I put in this. I wear this, especially in the winter. In the winter in Texas, this is beautiful. It is sweet. It's probably one of my guilty pleasures. Cinnamon, coriander, juniper in the top. And there is a beautiful juniper note here. Sandalwood, lavender, rosemary, ginger, and orange tree absolute. And there is beautiful ginger here. Tonka bean and vanilla in the base. That makes more sense than what Parfumo says for Original Santal, personally. They have like Mysore sandalwood listed, and I mean, Creed, no offense, but if there's real Mysore sandalwood in this, I will take you suing me. Please send me a letter. Send me a letter saying you're going to sue me for saying there's no Mysore sandalwood in here. I would love to argue that with you. I'm not even going to go down that route, but I don't think there's any Mysore sandalwood in Original Santal. Okay, next we're going to go to a perfume that was done by Pierre Bourdon. No one talks about it. Literally no one talks about it. And it's called Fève for Men. Gianfranco Fève. Now, this is pineapple in the top. So this is 2006. Pierre Bourdon was experimenting with pineapple. His student, Jean-Christophe Hérault, used pineapple in a ventus of very similar pineapple note. And this is what the bottle looks like. This is a mini. I don't have a full bottle, but I have a couple of these minis. And apparently this is discontinued. Shocking. Beautiful. It's like a pineapple-y, lavender, Dior Homme like perfume. There's beautiful iris leaf and black iris, Egyptian jasmine, ambergris, oak moss, tonka, sandalwood, patchouli, vanilla, and vetiver. Gorgeous fragrance. Okay, next on the list, we are going to go to a Krizia. And this is Moods Uomo. One of my favorite patchouli fragrances of all time. This is patchouli, leather, ambergris, oak moss, tonka bean, vanilla. Loads of 80s ingredients in this. Loads of 80s ingredients. Big carnation. I love this perfume. Absolutely love it. If you're a patchouli lover, Moods Uomo, you should try this. And you can find these for a very good deal. Very good deal. And then we're going to do a little perfume called Journeyman by Amouage. Now, Journeyman is a collaboration between Alberto Morillas and Pierre Nagrin. And this uses Sichuan pepper, one of the best iterations of Sichuan pepper I've ever smelled, with neroli. Interesting combo. Neroli, Sichuan pepper, bergamot, and cardamom. And then you get juniper, frankincense, tobacco, tonka, cypriol, leather, and broxin. Now, again, tobacco, tonka mixture here. But this smells like nothing you've ever smelled. This smells like a boss. It smells like you're, you walk into a room and it smells like the people are just waiting on you to get there. Like the party doesn't start until you begin. You are the boss with this scent. Stunning stuff. Now, I do have the bottle with the Journey written on the side. I have not smelled the one that's written down below. I can't speak on it, but if anyone has, do let me know. And then, one of my favorite Amouage perfumes of all time, and the reason I never bought a bottle of Eau Noir, is because of this. This is, let me show you the box first. I actually have the box. This is Sunshine Man. Now, Sunshine Man is basically lavender with orange brandy and immortelle. My God. This is Eau Noir perfected. Bergamot, clary sage, juniper with tonka, bean, vanilla, and cedarwood. And look at the flacon. How stunning is that? I mean, that is just stunning. I usually don't care about bottles, but my God, Amouage bottles just do it for me. What a fragrance. Okay, next we are going to go to a little Aramis perfume called Havana. Whoops, wait a minute. That's not Havana. Where is Havana? Havana's missing. Here's Havana. We're going to go to a little perfume called Havana. Now, this is their take on a tobacco fragrance, and it also has tobacco and tonka combo, but this uses balsam firs to give you this, almost like this green, foresty, look at the green touches on the label. Now, this is a modern bottle for all you guys, wanting to throw shade my way. This is a modern bottle, and I absolutely love it. So this is one you don't have to go to the deep vintage. Spicy, woody, tobacco, patchouli. Beautiful. There's even a lily of the valley note for May. Okay, let me pull up this perfume that is out of order real quick. Let's pull up Jacques Fath Pour l'Homme. Okay, so I wore this as my scent of the day the other day. And this is basically like a fruity, ambery. There's raspberry, there's rose, there's frankincense. The frankincense keeps it from being too gooey. And there's tonka bean in the base. Reminds me of Roja Dove's Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And I think this is a steal for value for money. I got a 4.2 ounce for like $70 or something. A year and a half, 2 years ago. But this is the version that you want. Look at the cap. You don't want the one with the gunmetal that says the name around it and the shrunk label. You want this one from what I hear. I haven't done a comparison myself, but that's what I hear. Okay, next is going to be Halston 112. Unfortunately discontinued is what Parfumo says. And that's a travesty because this is a highly underrated take on a spicy green fougere-like perfume. Galbanum and basil with mandarin orange and lemon, carnation, jasmine, lavender, pine needles, juniper with amber, oak moss, labdanum, musk, tonka, vanilla, cedar. I love this fragrance. So glad I have a big bottle, especially if it's discontinued now. Tonka and vanilla in the base is gorgeous. And then we're going to go to Boucheron Pour Homme. Now, Boucheron Pour Homme is a continuation of fragrances like Azzaro Pour Homme, Zino, you know, that citrusy, spicy, fougere take. I don't think there's any geranium in this, so I don't know if you'd call it a true fougere, but there is lavender and there's tonka bean in the base, frankincense, sandalwood, ambergris. It's very classy. If you like fragrances like Armani, what do they call it? Armani what is that Armani perfume called? Eau Pour Homme. Armani Eau Pour Homme. You can check out Boucheron Pour Homme. Now, this is the Eau de Parfum. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan, but I'm glad to have it as a reference. And then speaking of the great fragrances of the past, just real quick, I want to run through some we talked about yesterday on Jean-Paul Guerlain's video. This is Jacques. He didn't do Jacques, obviously, but it's worth mentioning. This has this inspissated air feel, right? So it has this heavy, like you're smelling some dirty runoff from the lavender fields. It has a little bit of that animalic ambergris, like, you know, it was inside the sperm whale, that kind of thing. There's also civet. So it is a little challenging, but it's a beautiful fragrance. And the first to use real naturals. And then I want to show you, of course, Shalimar. There's tonka in the base of Shalimar with beautiful vanilla. Bergamot in the top. One of my favorite, actually it is my favorite, not one of, it is my favorite fragrance for vanilla. And then I want to show you L'Air Bleu. L'Air Bleu is a beautiful use of heliotrope, florals. Again, that Guerlain vanilla tonka. I mean, you could go through so many Guerlains because they have that Guerlain, which I think includes tonka. Vetiver includes tonka. And tobacco, another winning combination. Samsara includes tonka and sandalwood with beautiful ylang ylang and jasmine. And then we'll go to Zino by Davidoff. Now, Zino has this beautiful barbershop, woody, spicy vibe with this almost like wilted flower rose feel. Like you're stepping on flowers that just died or they didn't get enough water. But there's lavender, patchouli, tonka, vanilla. It's gorgeous. I just realized this video is already at an hour, so we're going to have to pick it up, unfortunately. But check these out. I'm going to show them real quick and just check them out. Men Privé. Underrated designer. Even though it's spicy and sweet, I don't like sweet perfumes normally. This does it in a way I enjoy. It's a guilty pleasure for me because it has leather and whiskey and tonka. Beautiful designer. Another beautiful designer is Midnight in Paris. This is discontinued and hard to find nowadays, but this also uses that discontinued, or, oh no, a travesty. Hang on one second. We had a travesty. Okay. We have this designer leather-like vibe here with tonka, that kind of thing. Lily of the Valley, mate tea, beautiful fragrance. Don't pay huge money for it, though. And then there's this, which is also discontinued. F by Ferragamo. And I think this is a good perfume. This is an Olivier Polge. Green apple, lavender, labdanum, and tonka. Fantastic perfume. And then We've got another Ferragamo perfume. This is not really a guilty pleasure. This is one I smell and cringe because it's so sweet. Salvatore Ferragamo Uomo. This is tiramisu is basically what this is. Men's perfume should not smell like tiramisu, but it's mixed with tonka, cashmeran, sandalwood. Too sweet. I'll review it one day and probably annihilate it. Okay, now we'll do one that I will review and give it a complete perfect score because this is one of my favorite Andy Tower perfumes. One of my favorite perfumes that tell a story. Lone Star Memories. My God. Jasmine, cistus, leather, clary sage, carrot seed, geranium, green geranium, myrrh, sandalwood, tonka, vetiver. Fantastic. On to my new house that I'm exploring, Cuir Ottoman. Cuir Ottoman has this iris, leather, tonka, vanilla, frankincense, and labdanum in the base. Ottoman Empire is what this is based on. I am very excited to explore this house. And then we've got Burberry Touch, which is basically musk, vetiver, and tonka in the base with Divana, nutmeg, white pepper, and violet leaf. This is a very pleasant fragrance. Look at my bottle. It's really old. It's got stuff floating in it even. But the white musk is amped up here to a huge amount, but you can still tell there's tonka. Now, real quick, CK Reveal, which I despise. It's way too sweet for me. Tonka, vetiver, agave. One that I do love, Original Denim, which is spicy, woody, bay leaf, peppery, leathery, tonka in the base. This is a gem. I paid $19 for this. Some people say they get it for $6, $7, $8, $9, $10 for the eau de toilette. If you can find this and you're a lover of old masculines from 1975, get it. Get denim. You can't go wrong. You will have to spend tons of money to get a perfume with that amount of creativity and leather, chiffre, that kind of thing. Next is Burberry Brit Rhythm. And this is tonka bean in the base with gaiac wood, leather, patchouli. There's an absinthe note in the top, but it's very designer-ish. But again, kind of like Midnight in Paris, it's a designer I can wear. Another designer that I can wear is Valentino Uomo Intense. This is iris. This is more about the iris and then the leather in the base. This gourmand-like irisy feel with cacao. There's no cacao listed. It only shows vanilla, but I get a little bit of cacao and tonka. Gorgeous perfume. Gorgeous designer. Love wearing it, and it competes with Dior Homme. A vintage perfume from the past that uses tonka is Dior's Jules. Cumin, basil, oak moss, tonka, suede, and leather. Oh my God. If you've never smelled vintage Jules and you're a leather lover like me, please, please try to find yourself a decanter or a bottle or, you know, it's amazing. Dior Sauvage Parfum, the one that gets overlooked now that there's elixir, but this has lavender, Sichuan pepper, Papua New Guinea vanilla absolute, Ceylonese sandalwood, Virginia cedar, tonka bean, and patchouli. And there's even this LME frankincense thing going on that he used in a couple other perfumes to perfection. And then we've got Bogart Pour Homme. This is another cheapie. I got this bottle for $20, and it's such a steal. If you like fragrances like Pure Havana by Thierry Mugler, check out Bogart Pour Homme. This has tonka, patchouli, and vanilla in the base with lavender, water lily, bergamot in the top, and some floral notes in the mid. Speaking of A Men, the original A Men, honey, patchouli, coffee, tonka, styrax, vanilla, one of the best designers of all time. If you've never smelled A Men, try to find a Thierry Mugler bottle, not the current Mugler bottles. The current ones they are a shell of their former selves. Yes, I said it and I mean it. They are a shell of their former selves. Okay, Le Male Essence de Parfum. This is probably, should be too sweet for me, but I still love it. It's cardamom, leather and osmanthus, designer leather, sweet, and sweet tonka and vanilla. It's one of these dirty, one of these guilty pleasure perfumes for me. And then, now we're going to get to the tonka heavy perfumes. The first is Joop, Homme. Now, a lot of these, obviously some of these have been tonka heavy, but these last 5 or 6, I really get the tonka. Joop Homme is gloopy tonka with vanilla. There's heliotrope and cinnamon in the heart. There's also Lily of the Valley, by the way, in here. Bergamot, mandarin orange, orange blossom, and lemon. And then probably some people's maybe holy grail tonka. For me, it's too sweet. It's Fève Délicieuse by Dior. Came out in 2015. Reformulated in 2018 by Francois Demachy. There's tonka, vanilla, bergamot, and rose. Some people even say there's this caramel facet to it. But if you just want like a gourmand sweet tonka, if you love sweet perfumes, Fève Délicieuse. Definitely one to check out. Now, this is my under the radar cheap vintage tonka that I would recommend to you, okay? If you've got 40 bucks burning a hole in your pocket and you want one of the best spicy oriental fragrances, beautiful tonka in the base, Krazy Krizia. This is the eau de toilette. I also have the eau de parfum. They're both. Either one. Get both like I did. They're cheap. I got them both for 40 bucks a bottle. Steal. This is a Dominique Ropion. And the complexity, the level of the ingredients, the galbanum, this is worth easily 2 or 3 times what I paid. Easily. This could be $200 on eBay in 5 years. Peach, galbanum, carnation, rose, amber, labdanum, patchouli, sandalwood, tonka bean, vanilla, cedar, and civet. Look at the color of the juice, too. Absolutely gorgeous. What a fragrance. Under the radar, too. Shocking. Designer tonka would be this. L'Homme Idéal Eau de Parfum. This is almond, bergamot, spices with Bulgarian rose, frankincense, and vanilla. And then there's this leathery notes, sandalwood, and tonka bean. So the almond in tonka plays off of itself because tonka itself has this almondy, hay-like, tobacco type smell. So the fact that Thierry Mugler used almonds in the eau de parfum, this cherry almond-like vibe, it is beautiful. It's a little too sweet for me a lot of times, but it is beautiful. Now, these last 2 are probably my favorite out-and-out tonka perfumes. Number 1 is Guerlain's Tonka Impériale. This is a quiet fragrance for the most part. It doesn't shout, though, but it gives you every aspect of tonka. Like, if you want to just break down tonka in every aspect, with almond, tobacco. Again, they've mixed tobacco and tonka and almond in here, which is beautiful. It's a perfect representation of tonka. And they've added some cedar wood, some frankincense. I just wish it wasn't so quiet. Maybe as the bottle opens up, the perfume will open up as well. And then finally, my hidden gem tonka is this. Robert Graham's Fortitude. With the ram. Robert Graham's Fortitude is, it's Tonka Impériale with designer-like projection. Okay, so this thing projects, and it's heavy. There's only 3 notes: tobacco absolute, patchouli, tonka bean. Absolutely stunning. Maybe not as multifaceted as Tonka Impériale, but I love wearing this. Even though there's a little bit of sweetness to it, I can stand it. It is discontinued. But if you can find a bottle of Fortitude and you are a Tonka lover, I would highly recommend it. Okay, thank you for watching. I appreciate everybody. Thanks for the likes, the subscriptions, the comments. I love interacting with you guys. Let me know what your favorite Tonka heavy perfumes are. And I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.